Welcome to the Roadmap to 1 Million podcast. I'm your host, Stacey Zeal, and if you're looking for the high-level strategies and stories behind building a seven-figure product brand, then you're in the right place. On this show, we'll uncover the advanced strategies, stories, and secrets that you need to know in order to take your e-commerce brand to the next level. Are you ready to uncover your roadmap to 1 million? Let's dive in. If you have ever asked yourself the question, who should run my ads? Should I be doing them myself? Should I hire somebody? What are my options? Then you definitely want to make sure that you watch this live all the way to the end, because I'm going to give you so much information about the support that goes behind running ads. Like realistically, hey, Chrissy, realistically, what does it take to run your ads in-house? Should you be doing this and all that kind of stuff? So I'm super excited today. So what we're going to talk about today is we're going to talk about we're going to talk about the top 3 options that you have for running and managing your Facebook ads. There are, a couple of things that probably come to your mind, but there's some other things that you may not be thinking about that will definitely help you out. And especially number 3, because it's great for those CEOs that are like, hey, I want to run ads in-house, but I don't really have the time, or I really don't want to do it. But I don't want to pay for an agency. So this is another great option for you. So make sure you stay to the end, because that's an awesome one. So I'm going to give you the pros and cons of each thing, because I really want you to start to get into the frame of mind, like understanding, as I've been talking about ads a lot, I'm going to be talking about ads all month. I want to make sure that you are fully understand and fully equipped to understand what is it going to take for you energy-wise, what's it going to take for you money-wise, all that kind of stuff, so that you know what to put into this. So we're going to talk about pros and cons. We're going to talk about more about, like, if you do go the route of running your own ads, which is the route that I recommend, and I'll tell you in a little bit. If you do go that route, what exactly does that support need to look like? What things do you need to have in house in order to make that happen? And this is just, again, it's a great ad alternative. It's a great ad agency alternative if you don't want to go that route. So make sure you stay till the end. And before I jump into all the content, I want to make sure that y'all know to follow my podcast, Roadmap to 1 Million. Y'all, Roadmap to 1 Million, we have a new episode coming out tomorrow. There's a new episode out every Tuesday. And all month, we are talking about all things Facebook ads. And so if you are wondering, like, all things Facebook ads, you want to learn more about it, definitely make sure you head over to Roadmap to 1 Million. You can find it on any of your podcast platforms of choice. You can also go to staceyzeal.co/podcast, and you'll be able to find the share links and all that kind of stuff for the podcast there. So, all right, let's jump in. So the 3 options for managing and running your own ad. So I get questions a lot, and a lot of things that come up is support. So one, I'm going to run through the three of these, and then I'm going to give you the actual pros and cons of each. So the first way, we all know, is an ad agency, right? There are agencies out there that specifically, specialize in running ads for you. So done for you services. That's option 1. We're not going to spend a whole lot of time there, because we know about that, and we're going to talk about the other ones. But option number 2 is to run them yourself, right? So you, as the CEO, you can run them yourself. You can really have your hands in it, which is a route that a lot of CEOs that I talk about go through. And number 3, which is my favorite, is one, either to hire a freelancer or to have someone on your team do it. And so I'm going to go through the pros and cons of each of those things. So let's start with an ad agency. So pros to running an ad agency. So the pro is here, basically, you don't have to do it. Right. So if you are in a place where you're like, I don't have time to learn about Facebook ads, I don't want to learn about Facebook ads, I have so many other things I would rather do, then you definitely want to consider an agency. You get access to experts, so to say, that work at agencies that have a higher level of knowledge than you may actually already have or already possess. So that's a really good thing, right? Because you don't know what you don't know. But the thing about agencies, though, when you think about a con, the other side of that is that you have to pay for that expertise, right? So you're paying for higher fees. And so here's some of the things to keep in mind if you're paying for an agency, if you decide to go this route. Here are some of the costs that you're going to have to incur. 1, you're going to have to pay Mark. Okay. So you're going to have to pay Mark Zuckerberg his money, regardless of who's running your ads or not. Right. So we know that we got to pay Meta what we're going to pay them in order for them to amplify our message and to show our ads on their platform. 2, the other cost you have with an agency is a lot of agencies charge you a percentage of ad spend. And so what does that mean? That means that they're going to take some percentage of whatever you're paying to Mark. Okay. And that a lot of agencies put this in place because, like, for example, like if you start out with them and you're paying, let's say you're spending $5,000 a month on Facebook ads, right? And you're working with an agency. If you go up to running $10,000 a month on ads because things are going so well, a lot of agencies add in a percentage so that they can get paid for having to do more work as your budget scales, right? So keep in mind that it's not just one. The other cost that you have is the retainer fee, right? A lot of agencies charge a retainer fee. They charge you something to set it up and all that kind of good stuff. But then on top of that retainer, you might also have a percentage of ad spend that you have to spend. right? And so that's why agencies, that's why the con there really is the high costs. And so you have to decide within your business, like, are you looking to go the route of, paying those fees? Because like I talk about a lot, paying for ease, right? Like if you're really at that point where you're like, I really cannot do this myself, then an agency or option number 3 might be really good for you, right? So that's agency. I have a podcast episode 10, Roadmap to 1 million, that goes really deep into whether you should hire a marketing agency or you should run your ads or you should build your team in-house. So if you're really kind of considering, like, when you think about doing the actual marketing of your business, should you build your team in-house or should you hire an agency? When is the right time to do those things? Definitely check out episode 10 of Roadmap to 1 million, because that is agency versus in-house, and it goes all into that really deep. Okay, so let's talk about the fun ones, right? Let's talk about the fun ones, because I don't want to talk about agencies. Agencies have their place, but that's not what we're talking about. That's not the main focus of what we're talking about here. So let's talk about running ads yourself. The second option you have for running and managing your Facebook ads is to do it yourself. So you as the CEO actually being the one that goes into business manager, building your ads, all that kind of stuff. One of the pros with that is that you can move a lot faster. You can move a lot faster than with an agency, right? Because when you're working with an agency, you have a lot of back and forth, you have the communication, all that kind of stuff. You have, this is what I think we should do. Then they have their expertise in what they think you should do, right? So there's a lot of back and forth when you're working with agencies. But when you're doing things in-house, when you're doing it yourself, you can actually see, like, day to day what's happening. You can actually see week to week what's happening. You can turn things off really quickly, right? Like, say you that you made a mistake or something, right? And you want to turn everything off. You can just jump in there and turn it right off, right? So you're able to move a lot faster when you do it yourself. You also, know your clients best. And so the reason this is important is because really your ads are an amplification of your message, right? Of what draws your customers in. Like, a lot of what I talk about when I talk about Facebook ads is messaging. And so messaging is really what you want to use to create your ads. So the language that your clients are using, the words down to the nitty-gritty of the words that they are actually using to describe what they're doing, right? As an ads expert, my job, my role, I see is my role is to pull that out of you, right? I pull that out of my clients. I look at myself as a bridge between your clients and your new clients, right? Like, between my clients and their new clients, right? You tell me who your people are, and I can help you to digest that and to make it into something really scalable. But you don't have that, as often if you're going the agency route, right? They may have a playbook of how they run ads for people, and this is just what they do, right? And so you want to keep in mind that your people best, right? And you want to be close to it so that you can respond to people, you can talk to people, you can start conversations in the DMs, all that kind of stuff, right? So being close to what you're doing in the ads world is a really good idea. It's really beneficial. Like, when I was working at Zappos, I ran ads in-house for the most part. Like, we have agencies that helped us with projects here and there? Yes, we did. But for the most part, it was us it was me, specifically me and some other people on the team, that we trained, that were building and pushing out these ads. And so if there was a big change, like, for example, if there is a big national something that happens, right? There's always something that happens, right? Like, something that goes viral, a shooting, all these kinds of things, right? We can make the call in-house and say, like, let's turn our ads off, right? Like, and I can go in and turn them things off, right? It doesn't have to be a whole lot of back and forth. So you can really, really be close to your launches and close to what you're doing and close to your numbers when you are actually, when you're running your ads. And if you're seeing, like, hey, things are going really well with your ads, you're running ads to a workshop that you have coming up, things are going really well, it's very easy for you to jump in there and just increase those budgets, right? So you don't have to go back and forth and say, like, hey, we want to spend more money, all that kind of good stuff. So I think I hit that point home, right? You get the closeness. Hey there, CEO. Do you secretly wish you could grow your revenue without having your hands in every piece of your marketing? Are you longing for the days where you aren't approving every post, every email, or even every sales page before it goes out? I so understand, because when CEOs like you come to me, they have a big vision, they're doing a lot of marketing, but for some reason they are stuck. And it is my job to come in and uncover the big problems that we have and figure out how we can actually take you from being stuck at that revenue milestone you're currently at and getting you on to that next level. So if you know that it is time for you to take your hands out of all of your marketing so that you can get to the next level, then definitely want to book a call with me so we can talk about how a fractional CMO can help you hit your next revenue milestone without the side of CEO burnout. So head over to stacyzeal.co to book a call with me today. Don't wait. Your future millions are waiting for you. You also save on those fees, right? As I mentioned, when you're working with ad agencies, they have a retainer. They also have a percentage. A lot of them also have a percentage of ad spend, right? And so keep in mind that when you have those kinds of costs, that it's eating out of your budget that you're spending. You got to pay Mark what you're going to pay Mark regardless, right? If you're paying Mark $500, Mark's going to get $500 and your agency is going to get, a percentage of that. They're going to get, a retainer on top of that. So you have to budget for a lot more money when you're not doing this yourself. And then the con for running ads yourself is that you got to learn how to run Facebook ads, right? Like I am not going to sit here and tell you that it's a set it and forget it kind of platform, because it's really not. You can make a lot of money on this platform. You can make a lot of money with Facebook and Instagram ads. And with that comes the fact that you actually have to look. You have to actually watch what you're doing. You have to actually go in there. You don't just build a campaign and then just come back and check in months later. But the way that I teach my clients, right? I work, I have systems and SOPs and checklists and all kinds of things that will help make it easier for you, where I can tell you, hey, this is what you go, once a week you go in and look for this. Once a month you need to go and do this, right? These are the kinds of things that you need to do at different time breaks, right? So I do try to break that down for my clients for sure, but understand that you will still have to learn what you're doing, right? I'm not going to teach you, to just go in there, build a campaign and just say hope that things go well, right? Like that's not my style. I want you to get results. So I'm going to teach you the way that I know how to get results and the way that I have gotten results with, running ads on the back end of Zappos for 4 years, generating hundreds and millions of dollars, running ads and building and using the same processes, the same systems that I've used for lots of different brands, and distilling that kind of stuff down for my clients so that I can teach you how to get from A to B from C to D, right? Like I can just teach you how to get there, how to get to the result that you want to get. But I don't need to teach you everything about Facebook ads, right? I just need to teach you the strategies, the systems, and the support. And we're going to go into that in a second. And so that's the second reason. That's the second option, right? So the first option, we have an ad agency. Second option, we have that you can run it yourself, or you can do it yourself as a CEO. Third option is my favorite. And the third option is that you can either have someone on your team learn how to do this or run your ads, or you hire a freelancer. And so I know that we think, when we're thinking about ads, we're thinking about ad agency or we're thinking about running it ourselves. But you do have a lot of people out here, especially with all these layoffs and that kind of stuff, that are actual freelancers, right? So they will actually say like, I'm not an agency, but I will run your ads for you, right? I have the ability to know how to run ads, and I've monetized that and made into a business of somehow, right? So that helps you to save on costs, right? Because you're only paying, whatever you're paying, whether you're paying them hourly or you're paying them on a retainer or something like that. You typically wouldn't have a percentage of ad spend if you're working with a freelancer, or you pretty much would treat them like you're treating a contractor. Or you can have someone on your team do it, right? And so here are some pros and cons. So if you have a team of people, you have people on your marketing team, you have a marketing assistant, you have social media person, someone on your team that you have an executive assistant, something like that, someone who can dedicate 1 or 2 hours a week to being able to pull numbers for you, to be able to have a basic understanding of how to build ads and really what to look for, and really kind of being able to walk through the process that I create for people. If you have someone who can dedicate an hour or two a week to doing this, and honestly, an hour or two a week is being very, very is aiming high because I don't spend an hour or two a week, jumping in and looking at my clients' ads, because I've done this for so much, so I know what I'm looking for. And so when I distill that down and give you a checklist of like, look at this, look at that, look at that, right? That's what you got to look for. So you're dedicating, an hour or two a week to being able to, build out some campaigns, to be able to, optimize some things, to be able to pull numbers. Even have someone that can pull numbers for you is so beneficial, right? Just having someone to be able to go in every week and say like, this is what's happening. They're filling out the spreadsheet that I create that I have for my clients. There's a spreadsheet that's a reporting document, and they can go in and pull numbers for you. And so that way you can have a look and say like, hey, what are we learning here, right? Because again, Facebook ads are not set it and forget it, right? Especially if you're going through a launch, you want to make sure that you're building this into your workflow, that you're checking your ads, you're optimizing, you're increasing budgets when you need to, you're pulling back on budgets when you need to, and all that kind of stuff. And so it's not that it's a whole lot. It's just not something that you can set and forget. It's not something that I would tell you to say, hey, these are the, exact ads that are going to work. Build these, never look at them again. Here's your $1 million business. There you go. Right? That's not how it works. You have to actually put in the time to go through the testing, to actually look and watch and see what's going on, actually making moves and adjusting things adjusting your budgets as accordingly, or just even being able to see like which ads are doing the best, which ads are not doing great, turning off things that aren't performing well, amplifying things that are performing well, right? So it's not like it's a whole lot of stuff that you have to do, but you do have to look at it. It's not a set it and forget it kind of channel. And so the con here is that they may lack the expertise, right? You may have someone on your team They're great at social media, they're great at email, or they're great at organic social media, they're great at all these other things, but ads are not their expertise. And so if that's the place that you're in, or ads are not your expertise, right? I actually am coming out with a course at the end of this month. And so I will be having a workshop on the 23rd. So make sure that you are saving the date for that, because in that workshop, I'm going to talk to you about my course that's really going to be able for you as the CEO to either learn how to run your own ads, or it's going to be able for you to, buy the course and have someone on your team learn how to run ads and learn how to do this effectively so that you can really maximize your money. Because a lot of times we're leaving a lot of money on the table, y'all. I'm just gonna be frank. Y'all are leaving a lot of money on the table by being afraid to jump into ads. And I understand you're afraid of that beginning phase. You're afraid of that unsure. I don't know what's going to happen. Is this going to work? Is this not going to work? Right. But if you're just kind of jumping in and not without a plan, without a strategy, without the expertise, the expert on your side, then you're really just that's why you're missing out, right? And so if you're thinking about running ads yourself, you're thinking about hiring a freelancer, there are 3 things that you really need to have in place in order to be successful when you're running ads. And so in order to be successful when running your ads, 1, you need the right ad strategy. And let me tell you, that ad strategy is not Googleable. It's not just Google hacks. It's not just going to say, Facebook ad strategies for online brands, right? That's not going to give you be specific enough for you, right? So you need an ad strategy that is not Googleable hacks, right? You need something that is really specific for your business, because there's so many things you can do with Facebook ads, but you want to be able to make sure that you're focusing on the right things, and you're focusing on the things that are actually going to move your needle versus the things that, are popular, right? I don't care about popular. I care about getting you results, right? So the second thing that you need to be able to run your ads in-house is you need the right systems. You need the right systems for building, testing, iterating, and optimizing your ads on an ongoing basis, right? And so I am not, as I mentioned a little bit earlier, Facebook ads, I am not going to teach you set it and forget it. So if you want set it and forget it, you are not going to get set it and forget it here, right? I am here in the business of trying to get you results, right? And so with that, you need the right strategies. You need, your checklist to understand, what am I looking at, day to day? How often do I check my ads, right? How do I plan out my launches so that way I make sure that my ads start at the right time and I have enough time for that pre-building phase or that pre-launch phase, and then switching over to launch phase, then having a post-launch, right? You want to make sure that you have the right systems for doing all of those things, for actually staying on top of your ads, so that way you can make the most money out of your launches. And then you need to have the support in place. You need to have someone, whether it's yourself, whether it's someone on your team, whether you hire a freelancer, that can dedicate an hour or 2 a week to being able to look at your ads and pull numbers, make some changes, make some optimizations, increase budgets where they need to, and other kinds of things that I list out on checklists that I provide for my clients that will be within my course. The checklist that you need to do some ongoing updates and ongoing maintenance for your ads, right? So let's recap. We talked about the 3 options you have for managing your ads. And those 3 options are: 1, you can hire an ad agency; 2, you can run them yourself as the CEO; 3, you can hire a freelancer, or you can have someone on your team do it. Like, you have someone that's already on your support team that wants to learn another skill and wants to, beef up their resume and all that kind of stuff to be able to learn more stuff. You definitely want to make sure that you're investing in that. We talked about the pros and cons for each of those 3 options. So pros and cons of hiring an agency, pros and cons of, doing it yourself, and then pros and cons of hiring a freelancer or having someone on your team do it. And then we also talked about the 3 things that you need to run your own ads in-house, right? You need the right strategy, you need the right systems in place, and you need the right support. And so make sure that you are subscribed to my podcast, Roadmap to 1 Million. You can find it on all the podcast platforms. You can also go to stacyzeal.co/podcast, and you'll find the links there to be able to get it on Spotify and YouTube and all that kind of good stuff. But also, what I want you to do is make sure that you DM me the word max. So if you want to be the first to know when my brand new workshop is open for registration, when my course comes out, I want you to DM me the word max, MAX. Okay? Because then I'll make sure that when the course comes out, when the workshop is ready to go, that I will reach out to you first to make sure that you get your spot on this list. Because let me tell y'all, this is a brand new masterclass. It's going to be awesome. I'm excited. I can't wait. So that's what I got for y'all today. Be on the lookout for the course. Be on the lookout for the workshop that's coming up on February 23rd. Go ahead and block it off on your calendars now. And I will definitely see y'all on the next live. I go live every Monday at 6 p.m. So make sure that you're following me. Make sure you're subscribed to my email list and all the things, because I have a whole lot of awesome good stuff coming out this year, y'all. So I'm excited. I hope you're excited. I will see y'all on the next live. Thank you so much for listening to the Roadmap to 1 Million podcast. I just know you got a nugget or two from that episode that will take your brand to the next level if you take action. Keyword, take action. So head over to stacyzeal.co/checklist to get a free resource that will help you to take action on what you learned today so that you can get on to building the brand of your dreams. And be sure to leave us a review so businesses like yours can get this gold as well. All right, y'all. I'll see you on the next episode.